Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Today we're going to help a neighbor out. A friend of mine actually gave me this ornament that I thought was kind of nice, made out of copper, and looks like it has a stone in the middle. And just pretty cool. He was asking me if I could help him get some logs from a area on his property, so I thought I would help him out with that. He's looking to extract at least one of these logs out of here. A little bit hard to get by, they're kind of in a ditch. He was wondering if we could use some, either the loader I have or some other way of getting this up so we could cut it up for firewood. So there's some pretty good trees, definitely good for firewood, or maybe some other things if he had some woodworking projects. I believe they're white oak, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And as you can see, there's a lot of sticks and stuff in there, just kind of hard to get down there and work with it. So we're going to try and see if we can pull these out, where we can work on them a little bit better. He can work on them a little bit better. And because of the snow and ice, there's really not a lot of good places to hook up with a vehicle and pull. So the plan is to bring over the trailer with a winch and maybe hook to that tree between the two propane tanks there, or maybe even to the left a little bit. String the cable through here, grab a hold of the logs, and hopefully slide them on right next to his building. At least the one for now. We'll see how it goes. And they may be a little bit hard to handle, so we may need to chop them up smaller pieces. We'll see how it goes, but it'd be a lot easier just to pull them out and keep them together where we can work on them out of that ditch. One of the first things we need to do is check out this winch, because if this isn't working, we're not going to get too far today. The question always comes up, do you cover things up with a tarp or not? And that's a good question. Because on days like today, you're glad the tarp is there, but then it seems like during the summer, when there's an opportunity to dry out the components of whatever you're covering up, the tarp holds the moisture in. I haven't used this in probably close to 2 years, I bet. And the last time I looked underneath there was kind of a surprise. Things were pretty rusted up and not looking too good. I sprayed it down with some oil, and hoping that it would kind of preserve it, but it seems like every time I look at it, it's pretty rough shape. So let's see what we got. You know, these winches are great. I have winches on four-wheelers on here, and I want to put one on the loader at some point, but what I'm finding out is you just really don't use them that much. And then the day when you really need to use them, you're going to go through problems. Today, if we don't get this job going, it's okay. We'll get it another time. There's certainly no emergency for this, but just something to keep in mind while you're doing some of these things, and what you might be up against ends up kind of discouraging people from doing and having a lot of this stuff, which is understandable. And the tarp is basically falling apart as I take it off, so it's probably going to have to be replaced. And there probably are better days than this to do this sort of job, but it's like a lot of things. If you wait for the perfect time, you just never get there. So as usual, there's remnants from the mice, and thankfully I put an air cleaner on here at one time because it didn't come with one, although it looks like it's about ready to fall off. That probably kept the mice out of there, but we'll check that out. So let's see if we can get this going, because if we can't get it going, like I said, we're dead in the water. I probably should see if we got spark, but I'm not even gonna check that. Let's just look underneath the air cleaner just to make sure that all the filter element or anything else that a mice might have brought in is not going down the throat of that carburetor. Alright, so it looks like air filter is intact and there's nothing that really got in there. So we'll put that back together. We'll put a little bit of gas in here. And this is kind of the next thing you get into is what's it going to take to start it being gasoline. Always drain the tank. Make sure we minimize any sort of gumming that can happen. But so, well, tank's not completely dry, and I hope that's actually fuel residue with that little bit of wetness in there rather than water. And I don't have a lot of fuel, but it should be enough to at least get us going if it's gonna go. Not sure if that's going to be enough fuel to hit the pickup or not. Yeah, it looks like we're underneath the fuel level with a pickup tube, so hopefully it'll grab some and we'll be up and running if we have spark, and if we don't have other carburetor problems or problems associated with the engine. I always leave this engaged, because if you leave it disengaged, it'll unwind itself as you're traveling with it. And I've had that happen before, where it unspools and it's just a big rat's nest. Well, you gotta be careful with leave it engaged, because when you start the engine, then it'll start to tighten up. So what's our first problem here? Looks like the cable's not working. So let's see if we can free that up. I guess it's time for some WD-40 to swing into action. Start out about half throttle. Check our oil. I don't see where we had any oil leaks, so it should still be in the crankcase. And it's pretty well full. Not sure when the last time it was changed, but I bet if I ran this a total of an hour since I've owned it, that would be about it. But that doesn't mean you don't change the oil. So the kill switch is actually built into the throttle linkage, so when the throttle's open a little bit, it should have spark. And I probably should get some starting fluid, because I bet I'm going to be pulling an awful lot on this. Looks like the recoil could use a little bit of spring work as well. We'll go get some starting fluid. Help us out, and we'll know if we got spark right away too. And we'll save our strength and our recoil a little bit with some starting fluid, hopefully. One last try of starter fluid. Okay. One of the shortcomings of this, of course, is this only drives in one direction, so it only works in the pull direction. Thank goodness the motor turns the right way for that. Otherwise, you need a reverser system in here. But there's really no effective reverse, and the only stopping is just to slow the engine down so the centrifugal clutch releases. So you kind of got to be on your game while you're operating this. You definitely don't want to spin the motor up and walk away from it, because it will keep trying to pull anyway. I've had it to one time where I was trying to pull a log out, and it was more than it could handle, and it started smoking the clutch on it. So the clutch is probably a little bit undersized, but at the same time it's a good weak point in the system to prevent more damage from something else. Kind of help with the reversal problem, I welded a 7/8 nut on the end of the shaft, which happens to be the same size as the lug nuts for the wheels. So if you carry a spare wrench or whatever, and typically I always try and carry a battery powered drill driver with me, you can put that on there and reverse it just to let a load off the drum, or actually you can actually use it to bring the cable in too. So you could in theory you could pull something up with it. I don't know how much force it would actually develop with like a drill driver, but you could if you had enough batteries and things like that. I wouldn't be surprised that you could pull a small tractor up or something with it over some time. But the nice thing about the gasoline engine, it just keeps on running. It's not gonna drain down your electrical system, things like that. So there's some advantages there. Of course, the disadvantages are getting it to run. You've seen what we had to go through. Invariably, I'm going to cut out a lot of that because I know you guys don't want to watch the pan and trying to get this going. It was an experience as much as I had, but when you do get it going, it's at least a good power source, good, steady, reliable power source once it's running, and just a matter of adding fuel and pull all day long. Put a little bit of lubrication on here just to give us all the chances we can, and I'll kind of talk through some of the other items I know about this. It's kind of cool they make this white lithium grease now in a can, which helps you get into those locations that you really just can't apply grease directly to. So it looks like we got some hope of using this today. A little history on this unit. It's a Warren winch. I don't know how many pounds it's rated for. I would suspect it's probably 8,000 to 12,000 pounds, maybe even more. I don't know. A friend of mine gave this to me back in the late 90s. The electric motor was off it, so I don't know if that was good or bad. And so my dad actually built the rest of it to run it off this gasoline engine, which is a 4 horsepower powercraft made by Briggs & Stratton from what I believe to be a 1960 some snowblower. It didn't have a air filter on it, so I put one on. My dad built or fabricated a stainless steel exhaust muffler for it, and obviously that's been holding up well. The tank, I ended up cleaning it up. I did red coat it just because of the application for this. It's just not going to get used much, and I need to always drain the fuel out of it and just prevent that tank from rusting. So always drain the fuel. The first time my dad had it put together and was running good, we went out to pick up some logs at another location, and he hooked them up and it just slipped. There's a centrifugal clutch on the drive mechanism, but that was all turning, and just everything inside the winch was turning, at least into the input shaft, but there was no movement in the drum. So my dad was pretty upset, to say the least, and kind of gave up on it. I kind of shoved it in the side of the garage for a while, and I popped this cover off and found it had a crack, and there's a hub in there that was cracked. And so at that point I couldn't make it any worse, so I put a pass of weld on it. I didn't V it out or anything. I just kind of welded over the crack, put it back together, and seems like it was working since then. And kind of gotten a little bit of debate with my dad on that. He was thinking that was actually made to have some relative movement in the drum, so he didn't think it'd actually work when I welded it up. But anyway, it seemed like it was working since that time, and until we run into something where it breaks again potentially, and we've been using it ever since.
How does the clutch thing work again? I'm still confused about that.
So it's a centrifugal clutch, like
it's centrifugal. I like centrifugal better.
All right, centrifugal it is. So there's little weights in there that follow the diameter of the inside of that drum, and once the engine spins up fast enough, it overcomes a spring in there, and that centrifugal force pushes the weights into that drum, and then it's.
Well, I know friction. That, but how does it engage?
That's how it engages. Because when those shoes ride on this, see, this drum is connected to the output sprocket that drives the chain, and right now it's loose because the springs are pulling the weights in. So this is like, it's in neutral, right? And then as the engine speeds up, the weights are connected to the shaft on the engine, and then that throws them out due to centrifugal force, and then makes them ride on this drum. And once they start rubbing on this drum, it starts transferring the energy from the shaft of the engine into the drive mechanism of the winch. Does that make sense?
I just don't understand how it engages with the chain.
Well, so the chain is always is engaged.
Or like how, like when it's just revving, it's not moving. Like that's the part I understand.
Oh well, there's a neutral in here too. When this is disengaged, it's a neutral, so that actually runs. See, if we start the engine right now, it'll start the chain and everything will start spinning.
But what I'm asking is, like, how does, like when it's just revving, and then you give it throttle, like what? How does it engage?
Okay, so I'm going to explain it one more time. The spring holds those centrifugal weights tight to the shaft, so they're not touching this drum right now.
Like a bearing.
Well, not really. I mean, it's just the weights are connected to the output shaft of the engine, and they're held by a spring to the center.
Yeah, okay.
And then as you spin that up, that centrifugal force opens them like into this drum, and those are shoes. Those centrifugal weights are shoes, and they push up against the inside of this drum, and then it starts to transfer the energy from the engine into this chain system. And then when you slow the engine down and the spring becomes stronger than the centrifugal force, it pulls those weights back in and slips. So you'll see, if I start it right now, it always spins because it takes very little force to get this to go. But you'll see when we start pulling, that clutch will stop, and a lot of times the engine can't even spin fast enough to overcome the torque required to get the drum to turn, which is good in some ways. This prevents it from damaging things. But does that make sense?
So it's just like the crankshaft is connected to the drum.
Yeah.
And
No. The crankshaft is connected to the centrifugal weights, and the drum. I'm going to call this the drum.
Okay, whatever. And then you have the weights that are cylinder-like shape, and they roll outside, and the spring is on the inside. And when they get thrown out fast enough with centrifugal force, the chamber, the spring expands, and then it engages with the chain while it's right.
Yep, that's right.
And then when it's not, it's just revving. Because the spring overcomes the
when the speed goes down. So when the speed is low enough, the centrifugal force is too low. And then when the engine speeds up, the centrifugal force is high enough to expand the shoes in there to push up against the drum.
Okay.
All right. Hi.
Steven, how are you, Bob?
Oh, did you want me to put on a mask?
No, I'm protecting you because I've had a cough for 4 months. I think it's,
Oh, for 4 months?
Yeah, I think it's
I don't think it's COVID
asthma,
then. Yeah.
but I'm not sure.
Well, we're here to help you out with your logs.
Great, great.
I'll cut this out. I'm always record everything, so.
That's wonderful. That's great. I'm delighted. I can't wait.
Unless you want to be on YouTube, I'll put you on there.
I don't mind.
Okay, I might pick.
I kind of incognito. No one knows.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So what I was planning on doing, and help me out here if you're okay with the plan.
Sure.
Yeah.
You got chains and everything?
Yeah, I think I got everything I need. The only thing is you know, how we're going to get a tree to hook up here and all that good stuff. So what I'll do is I'll come down here with my tractor. I got a little cherry picker on the back and pick up the back end of that log, and we'll try and.
You know, I had all these cut down. My guys are coming back.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, these are those picky ones too.
Yeah, are they?
Some of them anyway.
Oh, this one is.
Yeah. So.
I could probably get my saw running and get these down for you right away.
Nah, don't worry about it. That's not going to be our problem. I didn't realize that this actually drops off as much as it does.
Yeah, it doesn't. It kind of
So-
levels right here.
So what I'll have to do is try and pick this up and get it over on a log. I got some logs on my land,
Oh,
and we'll just set it on a log so it can roll.
yeah.
And then
How
what
are you planning? Which one of those areas are you going to hit, do you think? It's kind of aimed for the one near the
I was
house,
going to
but
pull it right through.
You run into that stupid rock.
Well, no, that's not the problem. The real problem is just getting it up this hill, because if I get
Okay.
the butt to dig in, I'm not going to be able to pull it. So what
Oh.
I plan on doing is I was going to hook my trailer like right almost directly towards your white trailer there. So you might have to move your car, and I'll drop that cable, because I got a lot of cable. I got about 100 feet of cable.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll move my car.
And then but I got to chain my trailer to one of your trees. So I'll have to figure out what tree is the best, and then just snake it up. We'll pull it up right alongside your building here,
Perfect.
because that's about as best I can.
That'd be perfect, because I think it's going to be ready to burn.
Yeah. So what?
It's a couple years old, or I don't know. Time is getting by me.
So this might be a little more difficult than I thought, because
This slant.
because I got to get it up enough to get it on ideally what I'd be able to do is pick it up and get it over to here, but my tractor can't pick and move at the same time. I can pick, but I can't move.
You can't push it, can you, from this way? Or you'd be kind of on an angle. Tilt. But
Yeah, so my hope is to just raise it up enough to get
a log.
a log underneath it to roll it, and then I'll come in and I'll hook the cable up back here, and then hopefully roll it up. We'll just have to watch it. Once we get the butt to here, we're home free.
Yeah.
It's just getting the butt to here or there, and then it should come right out. And the nice thing is as we pull it, that end should go down, and that should help a little pick this up.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to see how it goes. So it might be all day's project.
Tell me this, Stephen. Why don't you just hook the cable on up here, and just drag it without lifting it at all?
Because I think it's going to drive into the ground. I got to get it up
Okay.
so that it's rolling, because
I
otherwise
gotcha.
I can't pull it. You know, you dig it in the ground, you're not going to go anywhere.
Sure.
And so I just got to get it up, and
that makes sense.
and I should be able to get my tractor down here with the picker, and that shouldn't be a problem. The problem is going to be just making sure that there's enough log to roll it. So that might be screwed on. Yeah, and you don't have to sit here and help us. I mean, if you want to, yeah, it's just kind of fun. So
for me here, that's good.
okay, so I'll. You just want the one, right?
Yeah.
For now, because I mean,
no, I wanted them all. I think that's a maple there. Look at that. Size
those are
of that.
monsters. That one there is a nice tree, you know, and then maybe that is maple, but that's good firewood.
I think it is over there, but my saw it'd take me an hour to get through that.
Yeah, but you got a lot of burning here to do. But anyway, this will
It'll get
be
me started.
yeah. And we'll see what we can do, and maybe we won't have any luck. But
So you
we'll,
got a good helper right here.
yeah, we got everything we need. Okay, so really all we need to do here is just build another loop. You want to go hook. Let me just get this to where it hooks on here. And we can just hook this right back to it. So
Wonderful.
good. Well, what we're going to do is we'll run back and we'll get our log and our cherry picker over here, and we'll pick that up. You know, if you could go get the sledgehammer.
Some modifying on the engine of the tractor as well.
I put a turbocharger on it.
Good lord.
Yeah, because I was in the Wyoming at a higher elevation, so I wanted to recuperate the power.
Oh.
So it's just a project. That's why I'm divorced now,
Yeah.
because of that. Actually broke it. Yeah, that's probably maybe more where the way it's going to roll, you know. Like this. If you want to grab that little log and hand it to me, and I'll just lay it right on top of here. Because as we start to pull, it's going to slide, right?
I got you.
And actually, we should be okay, actually, if we put it like this. It'll just roll it right onto, or slide it onto this one, and this one should roll it up, hopefully. And hopefully this won't be in the way, but we'll move it out of the way. I really want to...
That other tree looks like it might be the same kind of stuff, but I don't know what it is. I'm not asking you to take it out. This one's good.
Yeah,
but,
well, no, it'd be fun to take them all out. I mean, if we had, but those are, we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, you know, I don't really, my equipment is not made for this stuff, but I make it work because I,
you're an engineer.
Well, because I can't afford all that stuff, and I can't justify. I can't even justify this most of the time. It's just, you know, it's nice to have the capabilities to do something, because if you ever, I don't know, every once in a while you run into these situations.
You know, I'm the Egyptian mold, man. If I got to get something done, I'm going to find a way to do it.
Well, and that's the thing. You trade, you know, you end up, if you don't have the equipment, you just trade time for horsepower, right?
That's right.
So a lot of people have excavators and big loaders and dump trucks. You know, it's no, this is bing bang and it's done. But you know, the average person, what do you?
Yeah.
You're just not using that stuff daily, and it doesn't. You can't justify it.
afraid of coming is that coming loose and snapping back and hitting one of us. So we need to be to the left or right. Shoot. I can't believe that's actually pulling that monster tree.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna hit this little stump here. I bet you it pulls it right out. Yep, bust it right off.
This has a lot of speed.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Pretty soon, the other end's going to come off of that tree, and then this will raise up, I'll bet you.
Yeah.
There it went. Well, partially. There it did.
Well, we were able to finish our job pretty well. Things ran good once we finally did get it to run. Engine ran good. It's a very good running engine once it gets fuel and starts to run, so I'm going to continue to use it for now at least. This would be a great candidate for diesel conversion, just because then you don't have to worry about emptying the fuel, which I just got done doing, emptying the fuel and running it out so we don't have plugged up jets next time. Pretty happy with its performance today. Who knows when we'll use it again. And if you guys see anything else, any other videos like this out there, point in my direction. I've seen some gas-powered winches or a little bit kind of off-the-shelf winches. Haven't really seen any other winches that were retrofits like this. I think I saw one or two larger gasoline or they may have been even diesel powered ones. But kind of unique. Hope it lasts for a while, and maybe someday we will put a diesel on here just to see how it runs. And appreciate you guys watching. Leave comments below, and we'll see you on the next video.